Coming up on Wake Up Nonstop, local history at Hanford, the nuclear waste converted into glass, the project years in the making, and what the governor is saying this morning.
Also this morning, funerals for the fallen, ceremonies underway for some of the deceased hostages returned to Israel. What questions still remain as that fragile ceasefire between Israel and Hamas holds, and what it means for the Gaza Strip.
Plus, a first look at your weather forecast. We yet again are off to a bit of a frosty start, but we'll see some nice afternoon sunshine. However, wet weather, it is on the move. A look at when ahead.
A lot of really long years, a lot of really cool years. This is the most exciting year.
And playoff fever hitting the inland Northwest.
Now, Mariners fans here in Spokane say that this stacks up to the greatest playoff moments in the history books. Coming up on Wake Up Nonstop Local.
Wake up, you gotta rise to the sun, and here it comes, it's time to make the best of what you got to give. It's all about rising, and I wanna be there.
All right, you can get a free steak dinner on your birthday at Swinging Doors, but you can also watch the Mariners game tonight. Here's a live picture at the restaurant on Francis in North Spokane. The place is quiet this morning, but it was packed out last night, full of Mariners fans watching some October baseball. Now, they couldn't get a win, but they're hoping their luck will turn around tonight. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kalai Chalk.
And I'm Sam Adams here with Jenny Power. Hopefully it's winner chicken dinner at the Swinging Doors tonight. Last night, a rough one for Mariner fans, whether they were there at the sports bar or watching at home.
Yeah, but we did speak to one fan who remembers the team's earliest years that have defined their legacy and who witnessed one of the most memorable moments in Mariner history.
It was really kind of cool because after the game got over and the Mariners went into the dugout, nobody left the Kingdom. Everyone just waited and waited till they came back out. So, yeah, it's been a long time coming. Really looking forward to it.
That's longtime superfan Ron Landris, who was watching from here in town last night, and he says Spokane support is really something to smile about, and that's coming from a devout fan.
All right, so if there's a silver lining, it now means there will be a Game 5 at home on Friday night and more baseball in the inland Northwest.
Yeah, that's a win for everybody. Game 4 is tonight at T-Mobile Park. We're going to preview that matchup and some hefty ticket prices to go with it. We'll have a live report coming up a little later in the show.
Okay, for now, let's get a look at the forecast. I'm loving it.
Yeah, I wish it included a Mariner win. You can't forecast that necessarily, Jenny, but you can't tell us what's going to happen weather-wise.
Yes, exactly. I wish I could for the M's here, but I mean, everybody's rallying around it for October baseball. As far as what we're waking up to on this mid-October morning, it's a cold start here to the day today. Definitely chilly. You'll want to bundle up as you get ready. 34 degrees for Spokane, 33 degrees right now for Coeur d'Alene, but take a look up toward Colville and Deer Park, waking up to 25 degrees, 32 out toward Moses Lake and 27 for Vantage. And because of the cold start time temperatures like this, we even have a frost advisory for the Moses Lake area here until 9 a.m. Now, that's not the only thing that we're waking up to. We're now even seeing a little bit of fog move in through some of the sheltered valleys across eastern Washington and into North Idaho. And with the cold start time temperatures, know that roadways could be slick, so you'll want to just be prepared for that. Though, as we head into this afternoon, we're going to see some really nice sunshine, daytime highs in the upper 50s. Get outside, enjoy it while we have it, because I'm tracking some wet weather and mountain snow. What that could mean if you're trying to go over to Seattle for the Mariners Game 5, the details of that in 10 minutes. Sam Kalai.
All right, Jenny, thank you. New information right now on a case we brought to you last month. A Spokane Valley man with 7 felony convictions now facing new charges this morning after a SWAT operation led to his arrest.
Deputies say 42-year-old Justin Hancock fired a shot during an argument over a car near East Harrington Avenue and North Vista Road on September 29th. The bullet ricocheted into a garage wall just feet from the victim, but no one was hurt. Detectives later identified Hancock and learned that he wasn't supposed to have a gun.
Now, the SWAT team arrested and assisted detectives in safely taking Hancock into custody Tuesday night at a home. This is on North Hutchinson Road. Hancock being charged with first-degree assault and unlawful possession of a firearm. Developing right now, the Hanford Site has now achieved an historic milestone in recycling nuclear waste there. They say they have now successfully converted radioactive waste into glass for safe disposal.
Washington Governor Bob Ferguson and the Washington State Department of Ecology announced the achievement at Hanford's low-activity waste facility. The facility itself has been 25 years in the making. And there was an October 15th deadline with the U.S. Department of Energy to begin the process of converting waste from the 177 underground tanks into glass.
Now, the Hanford Site is just outside of the Tri-Cities. It produced more than 67 tons of plutonium from World War II until the end of the Cold War. The site is considered one of the most contaminated and complex cleanups in the entire world. Across the Northwest, a federal judge has now extended a restraining order barring the deployment of National Guard troops to Portland for another 14 days.
The orders were set to expire this weekend. Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals is still weighing the Trump administration's appeal and whether it should be blocked from deploying the Oregon National Guard to respond to ICE protests. Here's a live look from Israel this morning. The remains of 2 more Israeli hostages have been returned by Hamas. The IDF confirmed their identities late last night and notified the families so that they can start preparing their funerals.
Funerals for some already underway. Thousands gathering in Israel to pay their final respects, some carrying Israeli flags through the streets. Other families, though, still waiting for the remains of their loved ones to be safely returned. Hamas says they have now returned all bodies they have access to right now, but some experts say it could be a stalling tactic, giving them more time to consolidate power in Gaza.
Israel has in turn threatened to slash aid to the war-torn region. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says the return of the remains of the hostages is just as important as the return of the living hostages. Questions still remain about the rebuilding and governing of the Gaza Strip, as negotiations for those parts of the peace plan still need to happen. The UN Development Agency says at least $70 billion will be needed to rebuild Gaza after 2 years of war.
Healthcare premiums are doubling, tripling, and even in some places quadrupling. Families do not have the luxury of ignoring healthcare.
That's Washington Senator Patty Murray calling on Republicans to extend the Affordable Care Act subsidies as the government shutdown moves now into day 16. Now, Senator Murray and other Democrats are placing explicit emphasis on health care in negotiations to reopen the government.
Republicans, though, maintain that the issue should be addressed separately outside of a continuing resolution and that the proposed extensions go against their original purpose.
They put an end date on it because they knew that it was supposed to be related to COVID, and it's become a boondoggle.
And while the stalemate continues right now, sweeping federal layoffs have been put on pause. A federal judge halting the Trump administration's efforts to lay off thousands of federal workers, saying those layoffs are politically motivated. To a developing story right now, the new reporting rules at the Pentagon coming under fire after dozens of reporters turned in their badges and walked out. 5 major broadcast networks, including NBC, issuing a joint statement in rejecting new rules that would leave journalists vulnerable to expulsion if they tried to report on information that had not been approved by Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth.
Now, about 40 to 50 journalists left together, carrying with them boxes of documents, books, and photos. The statement says that those who walked out will continue to cover the military as an independent and free press, as they've done for decades.
Why is it now and not 10 years ago or over the past 10 years? What changed?
We need more allies and people that work with us around the world, so I think this is a movement in the right direction.
Well, in Idaho, there are mixed reactions to the federal government's decision to bring Qatari Air Force pilots and jets to the Mountain Home Air Force Base for training. The deal has been in the works since 2017, and under it, Qatari fighter pilots would train alongside American forces.
One anonymous resident, though, in Idaho calling it unnecessary government posturing, while others questioned its impact on local infrastructure. Regardless, the mayor of Mountain Home says the partnership is a welcome one.
Increased base operation means potential job creations, sustained investment in our community infrastructure, and continued support of our local economy. Our residents will have the opportunities to engage in international partners, to learn more about different cultures, and to broaden our community's global perspective.
An exact start date for training the fighter pilots from Qatar has yet to be announced. Still more to come this morning here on Wake Up NonStop Local.
All right, we've got Mariner playoff previews from Seattle.
All right, we're gauging the mood of the city and asking about any possible Spokaneites going on the road coming up.
Plus, we'll get a full look at your weather forecast. Gorgeous sunrise, but don't forget to grab the coat here as you head out the door. It's another frosty start. Plus, how mountain snow could impact weekend travel plans. We'll talk about that when we come back.